Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we've got a really interesting stack of material you sent over. It's all about making these, well, powerful drinks, elixirs, shots, using pretty common kitchen stuff.
Exactly. Things like turmeric, ginger, garlic, lemons, sea salt, ingredients you probably already have. And the sources we looked at suggest they can really pack a punch for, wellness, detox, immunity.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack what these sources say about the key ingredients, what they suggest the benefits are, and crucially, how they recommend maximizing those benefits.
Yeah, because it's not just about taste, is it? The materials really dig into how specific combinations might unlock greater potential. It's fascinating stuff.
Okay, let's jump in. The core idea seems to be that these everyday staples have almost medicinal properties, and combining them is where the real magic happens, according to these sources.
Absolutely. That idea of synergy comes up again and again, how one ingredient helps another one work better.
And right at the top of the list in a lot of this material is turmeric, or more specifically, the compound curcumin.
Ah, yes, turmeric. From the ginger family, used for ages in traditional medicine and obviously cooking. The sources list a huge range of uses.
They really do. Everything from digestion and liver issues to skin complaints, respiratory things.
And they definitely highlight its anti-inflammatory power. One source even compared it to NSAIDs, which is pretty bold.
Yeah, and potential benefits for diabetes are mentioned too, like helping with fasting blood glucose and cholesterol levels.
Plus, antibacterial, antifungal properties, potential cancer prevention through antioxidant effects, and quite a bit on heart health.
Right, things like reducing blood clots, inflammation, maybe helping with irregular heartbeats, blood pressure, cholesterol. It's a long list.
And digestive health, too, seems to pop up a lot. Reducing stomach inflammation, helping food move through, relieving indigestion, nausea, even things like IBS or GER.
Skin health gets a mention, acne, eczema, psoriasis, and even, interestingly, emotional well-being, potentially stimulating serotonin and dopamine, according to one source.
Okay, but here's the kicker that the sources really stress. Curcumin, that active compound, your body actually has a hard time absorbing it on its own. Low bioavailability.
Exactly. And this is where the how-to part comes in. The sources point to some specific science-backed ways to boost that absorption significantly.
The big one seems to be black pepper.
Yes, piperine, the compound in black pepper. There was a study cited in the material suggesting it can increase curcumin absorption by, get this, 2,000%.
Wow, 2,000. That's huge. That really changes things.
It really does. And the other thing is curcumin doesn't dissolve well in water. So the sources also suggest mixing it with some kind of fat or oil like coconut oil.
Right, that makes sense. Improving solubility. So adding a bit of oil is often recommended in these recipes to actually get the benefits.
Okay, so moving on from turmeric, its relative, ginger, is another major player in these sources.
Yeah, native to Southeast Asia, also with a long list of suggested health benefits. Again, anti-inflammatory properties are highlighted, sometimes compared to NSAIDs like turmeric was.
And antibacterial effects, too. One source even compared its activity against certain bacteria to conventional antibiotics.
There's also mention of potential benefits against certain cancers, gastrointestinal, breast, ovarian.
And for heart health. Similar potential benefits mentioned as turmeric, preventing palpitations, reducing high blood pressure, improving circulation, lowering cholesterol.
And digestion, again, reducing stomach inflammation, aiding passage of food, relieving indigestion, preventing nausea, a real gut supporter, it seems. Plus, immune system boosting.
But what's really interesting is what the sources say about combining ginger and turmeric.
Ah, the combo, yes.
They suggest the phytochemicals interact, making them more potent together. And specifically, gingerols in ginger seem to help the curcumin absorb better.
So that synergy again, it makes the curcumin more bioavailable. That's why you see things like ginger turmeric tea mentioned specifically for all those benefits. Anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, immune support, and so on.
Okay, next up, garlic. Everyone knows garlic is supposed to be good for you, right?
Definitely. The sources really lean into its medicinal reputation. Powerful anti-inflammatory compounds, antioxidant effects, suggesting it reduces oxidative stress markers and boosts our own antioxidant enzymes.
And potential cognitive benefits, too, maybe protecting against impairment or decline. Heart disease risk factors are a big focus as well.
Right, lowering things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, potentially preventing atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries.
Diabetes benefits are mentioned, reducing blood sugar, improving other markers like cholesterol, HbA1c, and even potential anti-cancer properties are touched upon: colorectal, breast, lung, gastric.
And let's not forget immunity, enhancing immune cell activity, antiviral, antibacterial effects against things like the flu or respiratory infections, possibly making colds less severe.
The sources also hint that combining garlic with ginger might offer even more health-promoting effects, specifically mentioning potential anti-inflammatory synergy and reducing oxidative stress.
Okay, moving on to citrus. Lemon or key lime. The sources obviously highlight vitamin C.
Yeah, the immune booster we all know. But they also mention vitamin C for healthy skin stimulating collagen, helping detox, and balancing electrolytes, especially when you add salt.
We'll get to salt. But first, lemon also gets cited for improving digestion, general detox for the body, liver, cells, and even as a potential caffeine substitute, providing a sort of calm, steady energy.
Interesting. Okay, so that brings us neatly to sea salt, specifically the good kind, like pink Himalayan or Celtic salt.
Right. The sources make a clear distinction, not plain table salt. These unrefined sea salts contain more essential minerals, a broader profile.
And when they talk about combining it with lemon and water, the list of potential benefits is pretty long. Boosting hydration is a big one.
Makes sense. The electrolytes help your body regulate fluids and absorb water more efficiently.
And digestion again, stimulating enzymes, helping with stomach acid production, promoting absorption, maybe preventing constipation.
Other things mentioned include reducing muscle cramps, supporting adrenal and thyroid health, possibly by supplying minerals like iodine and selenium, also contributing to more energy, maybe better sleep quality.
And the list goes on in the sources: balancing pH, strengthening bones, clearing skin, improving heart health indirectly, maybe even aiding weight loss as part of a broader diet, dissolving uric acid.
Yeah, and relieving allergies, acting as a natural antihistamine, balancing hormones, reducing inflammation, boosting immunity through antibacterial properties, balancing blood sugar. It's quite a list attributed to that simple combo.
But and this is important. The sources include cautions. Moderation is key with the lemon salt water.
Definitely. You need to drink plenty of plain water, too. Concerns mentioned include potential tooth enamel erosion from the lemon acid over time, stomach sensitivity, maybe triggering GERD in some people, and potential issues for those with kidney problems.
And they are very clear. Do not use regular refined table salt for this, only high-quality sea salt.
Good points. Okay, so besides those main players, the sources mention a few other ingredients that sometimes appear in these elixir or shot recipes. Cinnamon, for instance.
Right. Noted for antioxidant effects, potential benefits in brain disorders, maybe anti-cancer properties. But there's a really crucial warning in the sources about the type of cinnamon.
Yes, this is important. Cassia cinnamon, the common type, has higher levels of coumarin, which can be linked to liver issues if you use a lot of it regularly.
Whereas Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, has much less coumarin and is flagged as safer for frequent use in the material. They even discuss safe amounts based on the type.
Something to be aware of. Then there's honey, often added as an optional sweetener.
Again, a caution from one source. Sugar, even natural sugar like honey, is generally considered inflammatory. So if you're taking turmeric specifically for inflammation, adding honey might kind of defeat the purpose. Or if you have sugar-related health issues, obviously.
Good point. And lastly, cayenne pepper sometimes shows up. One source suggested it might offer similar benefits to black pepper for helping turmeric absorption, especially if you're mixing it in water instead of oil.
Okay, so we have the ingredients. What about the format? The sources talk about making concentrated mixtures, sometimes pastes, or using warm water. They often call them shots or elixirs.
Yeah, the idea seems to be getting a potent, concentrated dose of these beneficial compounds all at once.
And timing. Does it matter when you take them, according to the sources?
Sometimes it's mentioned. That lemon water with sea salt combo is often suggested first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, almost positioned as a potential coffee replacement for energy and digestion.
And I think there was one recipe with ginger, garlic, and lemon that suggested drinking it hot before bed.
Right. The overall vibe seems to be consistency, though. Regular, maybe even daily consumption is implied to see the potential benefits. And the preparation methods mentioned seem pretty straightforward: mixing, blending, steeping.
Okay, so recapping this deep dive based on the material you provided, we've looked at how these pretty common kitchen ingredients, turmeric, ginger, garlic, lemon, sea salt, and others are suggested in these sources to offer some potentially powerful benefits for wellness, detox, and immunity.
Yeah, and I think the real value in digging through these sources is finding the why. Like, why add black pepper fat to turmeric? It's the absorption issue. Why combine ginger and turmeric? The synergy for potency and absorption. Why lemon and quality salt? The specific hydration and digestive benefits described.
Exactly. It's those details within the sources that bring it to life.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Considering this wide range of potential benefits mentioned in the sources, from mood and energy boost to fighting inflammation and supporting organs, what's maybe one small step you might explore based on this material to incorporate some of these ingredients? Or what areas sparked your curiosity the most for further research on your own?
The potential is all laid out there in the source material you shared. Lots to think about.